The fifth topic is Chinese music. Music is a common language of humanity and is an important tool and medium for human beings to express their emotions, to record things in life and adjust their moods, and to communicate with each other. Firstly, we will introduce the pentatonic scale. If someone asks you what is music, you may start thinking of the musical notes of do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, si. But in ancient China, Chinese pentatonic scale consists of 5 notes. They are do, re, mi, sol, la. And we also call them gong, shang, jue, zhi, yu. If a piece of music is composed around the note of gong, it will be the music of the gong key. And if a piece of music is composed around the note of shang, it will be the music of shang key. Then we will talk the traditional Chinese musical concepts. There are 3 stories. The first story is the music and the heart. So many years ago, there was a player. He played qing, and one day he is imagining a mountain, and when he was playing qing, his friend Zhong Ziqi said, "Oh, you are imagining a mountain," and he was very glad that he thought Zhong Ziqi knows what he thinks. So after Zhong Ziqi died, the player Yu Boya locked his qing and never played it again. That's the music and the heart. The second story is the power of music. Xiang Yu, who lived in the 3rd century or before BC in China, he was struggling with Liu Bang, and one night he was surrounded by Liu Bang's soldiers, and Liu Bang ordered his soldiers to sing the songs from Xiang Yu's country. Xiang Yu was shocked when he heard the music from his country, and also his own soldiers heard the songs, and his own soldiers are homesickness. And Xiang Yu thought, "Am I surrounded by Liu Bang and he will catch me?" So he was so despaired. That's the power of the music. The third story is the highbrow and lowbrow music. There was a man, Song Yu, told a story to his king. He said that there was a famous singer was singing in the streets of the capital of state of Chu. When he was singing 下里巴人, thousands of people sang along. When he was singing 阳春白雪, only a few dozen could sing along with him. Later, when he sang more complicated songs, only a few people could sing along with him. The higher the level of the music, the fewer the people who could appreciate it. That's the stories on music. Now I will introduce you some traditional Chinese musical instruments and classical works. The vast majority of traditional Chinese music instruments are made of natural materials, such as bamboo, wood, silk, and leather. Compared with Western instruments, there are few metal instruments and bass instruments. First, I will introduce you the flute. A Chinese flute is made of bamboo, and it has a very long history in China, and it is one of the oldest music instruments. In a traditional Chinese band, a flute is usually used to play the main melody and is a very important instrument. Let's enjoy this made by flute. A trip to Gusu. The player is Yu Xunfa. Okay, that's a trip to Gusu, a part of a trip to Gusu, and I hope that you will enjoy it. The second instrument I will introduce is pipa. Pipa is also has a long history in China. It was introduced into China in about the 4th century. And in the Sui and Tang dynasties, pipa became popular in China and gradually adopted the pear shape we see today. One of the most famous pipa song is Ambush from Tiansize. So let's enjoy it, and the player is Fang Jinglong. was 琵琶. And the next, 古筝. 古筝 became popular in the state of Qing in the spring and autumn period, so it was also called 秦筝. In Tang and Song dynasts, this 13-stringed instrument was introduced to Korea and Japan. The modern 古筝 has 21 strings. One of the most famous music of 古筝 is Evening Song from a Fishing Boat. Let's enjoy it. The player is Wang Zhongshan. The timbre of 古筝 is very beautiful, so 古筝 is often played in tea houses, restaurants, and music as background music. And if you arrive in the tea houses or museum, you could listen to it, and usually you will listen to 古筝. Next, 二胡. 二胡 is one of the 胡琴 musical instruments in China and is the most important string instrument in China. And in the Yuan dynasty, as operas is developing, 胡琴 became popular and the main instrument for operas. Let's enjoy this music played by 二胡, and the player is 果敢. That's 二胡. The last is gongs and drums. If you stay in China for a long time, you will see the gongs and drums. Gongs and drums are very important musical instruments in traditional festivals, in Chinese opera performances, and in some kung fu movies. The harvest drums is very popular in China. Let's enjoy. Okay, now let's turn to the colorful modern music of China. The folk music in New Year. After 1949, the musicians in the People's Republic of China started to modernize the traditional Chinese music. On the other hand, It summarized the characters of the traditional Chinese music, and on the other hand, by absorbing the strengths of Western classical music and adapt traditional Chinese music and made it easier to circulation and acceptance. Now we can see the Chinese New Year Overture, composed by musician Li Huanzhi in 1956. It's very popular in China. It's okay. If you stay in China during the New Year's festival, you will hear it everywhere. The next is violin concerto. 梁山伯 and 祝英台, composed by Chen Gang and He Zhangang in 1950. The player is Yu Lina. That's 梁山伯 and 祝英台. The third we will introduce is A Spring Night with Flowers and Moonlight. It is a representative work of traditional Chinese music. Originally, it was a pipa, and later it was adapted into an ensemble to play with traditional Chinese instruments. If you are interested in this music, you could buy the record or you could find it on the website.